is just fantastic. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter, or Twat. Today we have 6 subjects to go through. Before we start, I'm going to be streaming on Omegon Plays tonight some Euro Truck Simulator 2. If you're at all interested in a casual chit-chat and some air quotes driving, and air quotes, please consider swinging by. The channel link is in the description down below. So to start, we're going to go with the artist formerly known as Petty Page. She used to be a T channel, who has tweeted to me, but not tagged me, Omegon, mad disappointed, shake my head. Oh well, one more dude to strike off the list. Based on the time of this tweet, I can only surmise this is in regards to my video on Deaf Noodles, and his inability to take criticism and then use race as a shield. Dear Petty Page, if you'd like to have a civil discussion about this, all you ever had to do was reach out. I am more than happy to discuss differences of opinion when it comes to subjects. By simply saying you won't watch somebody but mention them by name yet not tag them, you come across as, well, reactionary, like most T channels. And I am all in favour of taking criticism. I have taken plenty this week with regards to another subject. But as I've already mentioned Deaf Noodles, we can go to our random blocks of the week, which would be the second subject, because I've got 2 of them. In 2 separate videos, I said I would get blocked by the person I was criticising. The first was Deaf Noodles, and I did get blocked, a few days after I had thought it would happen. The other happened instantly. It happened the moment it premiered, and that would be Content Constable, a video that took me a long time to make that I'm exceptionally proud of. I know I'm getting requests to do one on Charlie Gold. I'm not going to say no, I just haven't made up my mind yet as I'm taking a break from that series. Well done to Chris Hansen and Deaf Noodles for showing just how well you can handle criticism. It is quite sad really, isn't it? To move on from that, we need to go to an Imgur. Yeah, the person who tweeted this out deleted it. So instead we have to go through a rather interesting thread about how one should write stories. And this is from Lily Orchard. Simple writing tips, a thread. 1. Don't worry about spoilers. If your story is good, spoilers aren't going to make it any less enjoyable. Spoiler to all of those watching. This thread is 60 tweets long, so I'm going to go through my favourite ones. Number 5. Heroes refusing to kill villains who have shown to be actively trying to murder people isn't noble. It's enabling. Number 6. 2 women kissing in the last episode of a show after 4 to 5 seasons of trying to murder each other is not revolutionary. It is fetishized abuse and violence. Number 8. When a character's body count is over 10,000 innocent lives, then that character is no longer redeemable, because 10,000 or less is totally acceptable. 13 through 18 are quite amusing for a whole plethora of reasons, and I highly recommend you pause the video to read these. If any of these apply to your writing, you are a turd, just remember that. Number 42, because a lot of the ones beforehand reference you being a turd if, and then insert random generic blah blah here. If straight men really hate a certain character, but lesbians love them, there is a 90% chance that is your best character. Number 44, the best solution to a love triangle is polyamory. Lily's got a point, I guess. 45. If you have a male character who actually shows respect and admiration to a woman, and some of your viewers call that character a simp, there is a 90% chance you have a good character. I guess it depends on the story. Mary Sue, number 46, is not a real criticism. It is thin-veiled misogyny. Always disregard it. No. My personal favourite, though, is number 60. Forced diversity is a right-wing dog whistle, not a criticism. If you'd like me to summarise all 60 of these points, it is the following. Don't make characters, don't tell stories, because none of you can do it right. This has been Lily Orchard's TED Talk, and I highly recommend you read whatever it is she's putting out. So before we get into the 2 main subjects of this video, one being YouTube and the other Letitia Wright, I want to go to this tweet. Young Miami, if you've never been pregnant, that pussy garbage. I'm hoping there's a comma in there somewhere. Then again, there's a few words missing too. The idea that having a child is some kind of rite of passage for one's vagina. That's interesting. And a big no-no for me. So Letitia Wright, actress most notable for her portrayal of Shuri in Black Panther, received a fair amount of flack, criticism and, I would say, harassment, possibly, for tweeting out a video. The video was from On the Table and their podcast, episode number 8. The episode is no longer on the Table's YouTube channel. It is referenced on the Rig Nation official Instagram, and you can still watch it, I believe, via the App Store Rig Nation app. In that video, they discuss whether or not they would take the COVID-19 vaccine if and when it is made public. I do believe Donald Trump has made it an announcement that the vaccine has been rolled out. In the UK, that has already started. Letitia Wright tweeted this out and got a fair amount of flack for it. The more notable quote to come from the presenter of that particular episode said, "I don't understand vaccines medically, but I have always been a little bit of a skeptic of them." Letitia Wright's position in all of this, which she did in fact reply to others, but sadly, and I'll explain why in a moment, it is no longer available, was to say that she thought it was important to ask questions, which I honestly believe is a valid position to hold. Regardless of what you think of what is going on in the world right now, one must always present a level of skepticism until something has been conclusively proven or debunked. For this, we now insert Don Cheadle, who plays the Iron Patriot in the MCU, who did for a time get into a considerable back and forth with Letitia Wright, until he simply decided to wash his hands of her and move on. Letitia Wright, because of all the flack she received, has since deleted her Instagram and her Twitter. My view on that is, it is unfortunate she has had to do that. I can understand why though. You're in a very unique position, and if you don't conform, bye. Many think that those who are working for Marvel are all that, forgetting that while they may be considered celebrities to many, because of the field they work in, they are equivalent to highly paid 0-hour contracts, which I'm sure many are going to disagree with me on. That's quite alright. Do let me know in the comments down below, especially with what you think about what's happened to Letitia Wright concerning the criticism she got. I'm going to link a few sources that are relevant. Do check them out. To the final subject, we go to YouTube. Now this one's quite interestingly timed, because I have heard the Supreme Court has thrown out the case from Texas, which is going to cause a whole world of problems. But as an Englishman, this doesn't affect me beyond us wanting a trade deal with you. So YouTube Insider tweeted out, "Our goal this election was to connect people to authoritative info, limit harmful misinfo, and remove violative content. Subsequently, authoritative news was widely watched and recommended, and since September we removed 8,000 channels for violating our policies." When lockdowns began, sheeple crowd control that is, YouTube put out a number of statements, including the word authoritative news. This was very worrying for the commentary community because news outlets have been proven over the years, and I covered it yesterday with the quartering, or Beardy McBeardface. They are being buried because the news, for the most part, is reported by biased sources who are only interested in pushing an agenda and not the facts, unless it suits their agenda, and even then they'll skew it in some manner. Yesterday was the safe harbour deadline. Now that enough states certified their presidential election results, we will remove any content published today that alleges widespread fraud or errors change the 2020 US presidential election outcome. We are also update today our election results info panel, which already surfaced under 200,000 vids and was shown 4.5 billion plus times. It will note that the US presidential election results are certified and linked to the 2020 Electoral College results page by the Office of the Federal Register. I like that the last tweet discusses openness and responsibility. Forgetting YouTube is a platform for sharing content, you are not a news outlet unless the channel is explicitly listed as news. They are not trying to come across as authoritative voices, you are simply silencing anyone that has a dissenting view on the subject, under the guise of them being an authoritative voice who is peddling fake news, even though for the last 4 years you have actually peddled fake news by promoting CNN and Fox. As we're done here, I'd love to know what you all think about everything we covered today. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Omegon Place tonight, have a great Saturday. Thank you all for listening.